Hey everyone, are you ready to be fired up? Because I sure am. I have a longtime friend, about 12 years, Jesse Zagrosky. He is a team leader, agent, has a huge organization outside of San Diego. He is also one of our authors in our top producer secrets book. If you'd like to see Jesse's chapter, go to KristaMashore.com/secrets. KristaMashore.com/secrets, where you can watch Jesse's, you can see Jesse's chapter. You can order the book and watch his chapter along with the other top producers, as well as, if you choose, go ahead and watch his actual training. Jesse, thank you for being here.
I'm excited to be here, Krista.
Okay, so you are a boss. Like I've known you for many, many years. We used to do foreclosures together back in the day. We would travel the country and meet asset managers, and we were doing foreclosures. And tell me a little bit about your real estate business.
Which totally dates us, by the way.
I know.
I feel like I'm a real estate dinosaur when you say that.
Yeah.
I've been in real estate for 21 years, which probably makes me a real estate dinosaur at this point.
How did when you were 12?
Okay. That was in early 20s. My business partner my entire career has been my mother. So I'm a certified mama's boy. I'm grateful to work with my mom. And I have gone through phases of my career. First 5 years, I was obsessed with lead generation, more of a retail market. Next 5 years was all REO. Took a little break from real estate, came back, and then grew a big sales team. Had it up to 20 plus agents selling hundreds of homes a year. And then really started getting back into more of the lead generation side, and then transitioned to what I'm doing now.
Yeah, so you are, so Jesse and I were with EXP together. Jesse's actually the one who brought me in. I'm in Jesse's organization. We are team members, we're partners.
And I'm so grateful.
I know, it's been great.
Yeah.
And it's the best partner to have, by the way, because it's just, his organization, his leadership style has been so amazing. The support you've given me has just been astronomical. So now you're focusing on really kind of not so much transactionally, though you still do real estate transactions, but more building your team. So talk to us, what is your chapter about?
So my chapter is about something actually near and dear to my heart, which is retiring from real estate. Mm-hmm. And not that anybody has to, but just having the freedom and the option to someday. Now, what the options are, the different paths, there's no right way to retire.
No.
It's just there's a joke, which is realtors don't retire, they expire.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a terrible joke, but have you heard that?
I've been to one retirement party in 23 years, but I've seen many, many funerals. I mean, it's and I'll tell you what, I believe this to be so true, and that is the fact that at some point, I was a very busy agent. There was a time where I was I'm done selling real estate. Every agent will get to a point where they're tired of leaving Christmas and showing homes or going on a listing.
Ruining family vacations, taking that phone call at the whatever time and walking away. Yeah.
Yes, it's I think it's one of the hardest jobs. Especially if you're busy, it's one of the hardest jobs.
I was at a real estate event last week, and I walked into the bathroom. It's one of my favorite things / one of the saddest things in the men's room. You will almost always at a real estate conference see someone at the urinal talking to a client.
That's crazy.
What other industry do we have then? So in terms of burnout, this is, again, it's not about needing the chapter I wrote. It's not about that anyone has to retire. Mm-hmm. I mean, I got into the real estate. It was in my early 20s, and I never thought I would be doing it longer than 5 years. For every 5-year period, I'm next 5 years, I'm going to set this up. I'm going to figure out how to do it, and then I'm going to stop and do something else or just take a break. That's always been. It's not about getting older and retiring. I just wanted that freedom to do the things I want to do, with the people I want to do them with, whenever I want to do them. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It is. And one thing about you, I know you're a great husband. You're a great dad. Your family comes first. I mean, I know that you'll be hey, can we talk? No, I'm picking up my kids from school. No, I'm dad. You can do that.
And no one says no to Krista, by the way. But so every time I say,
no, I love it.
Okay.
No, and I love that. Yeah, I actually respect it. I'm always oh, no problem. Family time. I mean, real estate, it can be very time consuming and it suck your life away. Being very, very careful. So you are focused more on how do I retire? How do I generate residual income? And if you think about it, rich dad poor. I know you talk about that in your book.
Yep.
Wealthy people have multiple forms of income, and most real estate agents don't know how to retire because they're not putting money away. They're living paycheck to paycheck. They don't have anything to let them ever be able to stop. And how sad is that? So you're coming up with solutions.
And it's just, and they're not my solutions. I'm curating things I've seen that have worked in the industry, mm-hmm. right? So if you look through the chapter, there's just different things that we talk about and different ways you can go. You talked about Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I actually think that Robert Kiyosaki wrote that his second book is by far a better book. It's called Cash Flow Quadrant. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I break down in the chapter, there's 4 different ways you can make money. There's no leverage and leverage. And that's where when you start thinking about ways, if you want to step off the transaction treadmill, you have to figure out ways to generate income in a leveraged way, right?
Can you explain those different quadrants and kind of go through each one of them?
Yeah.
I think you do it really in detail.
Yeah. I'll break those down. But first, can I give you just a quick compliment?
Yeah.
So this is what I love about everything you teach on like the lead generation side, because there's so much leverage in it.
Really?
Like it's that one to many. Like I'm obsessed with leverage. So if you're selling houses, employ leverage. If you're looking to step off the transaction treadmill, you still want to put leverage in. And this is the four categories. So he says the first one is as an employee.
Mm-hmm.
You have a job, right? You make money, you have a job, you show up, you get a paycheck. If you don't show up to work, eventually you get fired. Right?
Yeah.
You are trading your time for money. No leverage in that. When you become a real estate agent, we become self-employed. And most of our agents out there, like 95% of us, are in that self-employed category because you're still trading your time for money.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about taking phone calls at weird times of night, things like you have flexibility to your time, but you don't truly have freedom, right?
At all. I mean,
no. I always make this joke that when you become self-employed, you fired your boss and congratulations, you now work for a crazy person.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, yourself.
That's it. Right?
And every other seller invited right there, they're all crazy.
Exactly. Yeah, but I'm talking about it's yourself. And so what he talks about in the book is, and this is, I read this in my early 20s, and this kind of guided everywhere that I was going. He said, you want to start making money in one of two ways. If you want leverage, you want to be either a business owner where people are your leverage to making money, or as an investor where your money is your leverage to making money, right? And so either of those have leverage, and when you combine on top of those ways to have some residual income, or ways to also have, some sort of recurring income, you combine that with the leverage. Now you have something that's a game changer.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? So in the world of real estate, some people start brokerages, right? Some people start sales teams hoping that one day they might sell them. I could count on one hand the people that have known to sell a brokerage successfully, especially in this day and age with all the lawsuits and litigation, everything going on. I don't think you could sell a brokerage if you tried for maybe, I don't know. And selling a sales team is even more difficult, right? It's not that you couldn't do it. I've known people that have transitioned as solo agents, like a book of business. Like if you were to step out of production, Krista, you have a great book of past clients, people that know you and love you, correct?
Yes.
You could, in theory, sell that business to another agent. You'd probably partner up with them short term, do a handoff to them. And this is what I explained in the chapter.
Yeah, stick around for a while.
Right, how it works. Stick around and get before you walk into the sunset. It's doable, but it's a process.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It's not easy to do. I mean, you have to still be so committed to doing the handoff, showing up, being a part of the brand, still kind of being there. You know, that was one of the biggest things when I left into coaching. Like, my team was like, they want you. They want to see you. They want to see you. And I was like, no, they don't. We can do this. But it was hard.
And it took a while, right?
It took a while. It took a long while. Yeah.
And so that is an option for people. But another option for some agents is investment properties, right? They go, they buy rental properties, they start to invest, which is fantastic. It just takes a long time.
Yeah.
It just takes time. So, you mentioned that we're business partners through EXP. That was one of the paths I went down was there's a number of brokerages out there. I'm building on the EXP platform because some benefits there. But you can build a brokerage without having the expenses and liability of a brokerage. Right? I'm building a community. So that's a way that I've started to generate income in a leveraged way, but without all the expenses and liability. And there's a strong recurring component at this point where 5 years later, I can sell houses if I choose to, but I really could be retired.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's pretty wild.
And by the way, just so you know, like Jesse and I are building our organization through XP. We actually, when agents join through under Jesse and myself, they actually get all of my coaching for free. We teach them how to run Facebook ads, how to utilize social media, how to create video content. We teach them they could use all of our coaching and training to help build their organization, and we are passionate about it.
You give away so much value to the people that partner with you through EXP that it is mind blowing, and then they can turn around and basically help their friends.
Exactly.
It's just, I remember when you and I first sat down, and not to go down this rabbit hole, but just for a minute here, when you and I first sat down, and you told me the most important thing to you was, how do I get, because you know that your coaching has, like your training works. You've seen it where you said, how can I get the strategies that I teach people out to more agents? Like literally what you said, like, how can we do this? And so through this community you've built at EXP, I love that you're actually you're helping agents at such a deep level and expanding the reach of the agents you could help. So,
yeah. And then as people come in through us, they're able to then offer what we offer to people they bring in. So it helps them build their organization. So we're able to really help build by the masses. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that most agents have is that they're not, it's like, hence the word top research secrets. It's like real estate is a big secret. Nobody wants to tell you what they're doing. People are so, oh, you're going to take my business. I'm not going to tell you anything on how I'm doing it or why I'm doing it. It's like they want you to be successful, but not more successful than them, even their brokers or, right. It's like, it's hard.
Consider this. What other industry have you ever seen where they take 50 or 100 competitors, put them under one roof and say, y'all play nice with each other?
Yeah,
exactly. It would never happen. And so if you go into any real estate brokerage and tap on the person who sells the most houses, right? Tap on their back and say, hey, you're kicking butt. Like, can you tell me exactly what you do? There's no incentive. They're not gonna do it. That's what I love about it.
I was guilty of that. I'll tell you. Like when I was an agent, I was top producing agent, top 1% nationally, and people would be like, hey, what's your secret sauce? And I'm like, I work my butt off, but I wasn't trying to teach people in my area, and then even if I did, they wouldn't do it anyways. It's like even they won't do it anyways. So I should have, but yeah, it's a very competitive market.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I think that a lot of agents. You ever heard the expression "start with the end in mind"?
Yes.
Okay. I think a lot of agents when they begin their career, they think maybe the end is like I want to figure out how to sell some houses, but most agents don't think down the road to like what do they want their life to look like, to live by design. And so when you work backwards from that and figure out here's where I am today, but I need to get here by X amount of years, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and build the plan backwards, that really helps you craft your strategy now. That's really what I'm talking about in the chapter I wrote.
Yes.
How do you craft your strategy now for where you want to get to down the road?
Mm-hmm.
Right? For you, it was an interesting path you started. Since I met you, when I first met you back in the REO days, I don't think you even had you had a background as a teacher, but you never had a glimmer in your mind that you were going to become a coach, did you?
Oh, no. Not that, no.
Right?
No, I didn't. I that was not my game plan at all.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious for you, I know you're interviewing me, but I want to ask you a question. So like, when did it switch for you that you're like, okay, was it because you had gotten to the point where selling homes was something that you did consistently and you needed something else? You just wanted to start giving back more? Like, what was it for you in that respect?
I think it was both. I gotten so good at what I was doing, and it was just very easy for me. And I was a teacher prior to getting into real estate, and I love teaching and coaching and helping people. And so I was at a point where I was like, I'm really good at this, and I know I can help more people. And I missed that. I missed teaching. I was like, I have this burning passion. And then, I just made a decision one day. I actually got to a point where I was like, I was just so tired. I was so tired of selling real estate. I was averaging 133 homes a year. My best year, like 169 homes in 1 year as a solo agent. I was the mom that was on the going down the zip line on vacation on the phone. Like literally my kids are like, mom, you're not listening, mom. And I was like, I just was tired. So,
and that's what I thought you were going to say, by the way. It came from that passion of wanting to help, combined with the fact that at a certain point, everyone starts to feel a little bit of burnout. No matter how many, like you were wildly successful.
Oh, wildly.
But still, after reinventing yourself and coming back through, it still gets to the point where it's like, okay, how many years, like December 31st comes every year. Clock strikes midnight.
You guys
reset back and you're starting.
Month after month you'll be doing that. It's every month. Like and so many real estate agents have ups and downs. And so I think you will get to a point where you are tired. I don't care how, I was going to say, I remember working at Costco. So I was working at Costco, put myself through college, working at Costco. I would go to work all day, 10 to 6. I would go to school 6:30 to 10 at night to get my degree. And when I was working at Costco, there was a lady named Pam Fole, and she used to be a realtor, and she was a very successful realtor. And I was like, why are you working at Costco? And I'm all, you're making, not what you were as a realtor. And she's like, I was done. She's like, I was tired and exhausted. And I made 10 times the amount of money, but it didn't matter anymore. She's like, I was done. And I was like, I thought she was so weird, and who would do that? And now I know after being in the industry.
We're not trying to scare people.
Yes.
I just want to say,
not at all. We love real estate. Well, that's what we do. But it's like you're never going to, at some point, you, as good as you are, you have to invest in either, like you said, investment properties. You need something.
It's the diversification. That's the only point. Like, I don't care what path people take. I have my own biases. I know what worked for me and why. That's why I say if you start with the end in mind, I knew where I wanted to go. at this phase in life, for me, it was about time freedom more than anything else, because I wanted to free up as much time as possible to spend with my kids, to be with my family. And so I was designing my life in a certain way. Depending on your goal, people might approach it differently, but because it takes time to build it, you want to start before you're burned out, before you're like, okay, I'm going to work at Costco.
Yeah.
Because if you add in an investment component where maybe it's stock, right? Maybe it's, buying real estate. Maybe it's, building an organization as we're doing through EXP. Maybe go start a real estate technology company. Not that I'm recommending that, but everyone's got something different they do. But if you start it early and you don't take all your focus, like keep selling houses.
Yes.
If that's your primary focus, enjoy learning and growing, but take a little bit of time to start. There's a Chinese proverb, which is, there's a Chinese proverb, which is, I'm sure you've heard this one. When's the best time to plant a tree? Right? This time to plant a tree was 20 years ago.
Yes,
the second best time is today.
Right now.
And so it's, no matter where you are in your career, like my mom is now in her late 70s. Told you she's my business partner my entire career. Last week, a couple days ago even, she was out showing houses. Like literally, in her 70s. In her 70s. Partially because she likes it, because she wants to stay busy. Like she's like, I'm gonna keep doing this till I'm 90. And like, I'm thrilled that we are in an industry where you can do it if you want to until you're 90. But they also didn't do a lot to plan for retirement. Like they had some houses that they had bought, and in the last real estate downturn, they sold them all off. They had they got wiped out, and they kind of built up again. So now it's just like there's a lot of people that have gone through that in real estate, where even if your plan is investing, you don't know what's going to happen. And so I think just having multiple streams to build this up, it's important. I can't stress enough how if that's the one message we get through, it's not, oh man, watch out, you're gonna get burned out. It's like, start preparing now for what will come at some point.
Yeah, and the average person can do it, right? Whether you want to build a team locally or nationally,
right?
there's definitely the means to do that. So your book, you're focusing on that. I love that like you actually are close to the last chapter, because you want people to start thinking sort of outside of the box and thinking a little bit beyond right now what's happening in real estate, thinking about their future. How can they retire? How can they pass on generational wealth even? And, just selling one house at a time, listing houses that weren't buyers is not a way to do that. So it's really, and the most successful people will tell you need to have multiple forms of income.
Yep.
You need to diversify, especially when there's times that are like we're going through right now, right? A harder time in real estate.
I totally feel for agents right now. There was a quote I heard a couple days ago, which was, we are in a recession of transactions. We're not in a recession like an economic recession, but we're in a unit recession. People are just selling less houses now compared to the peak of the market. So I feel right now for agents that are 100% focused on selling houses, it's just point blank, like there's just less houses being sold across the country. Personally, because of the way I've structured myself, I'm not feeling it financially. So I feel for everyone else, I want to do whatever I can to support, but I'm so grateful that I've structured myself in a way that no matter what the market's doing, I've diversified. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, you're doing great. I mean, you've made it it's been, that's your focus right now. Your focus is that. At 21 years, it's like you've been doing this now, what, 5 years?
Yeah, 5 years building an organization.
About 5 years building an organization. Yeah. And how many people do you have in your organization now?
Just over 1,600.
Just over 1,600. Yeah. So you're got people all over the country.
Which is wild. I mean, and mainly what I spend my time doing now is just helping them. But like I said, because the people in your organization, they can take your coaching and training and go gift it to other folks. Like all I'm doing is helping them spread the word to go help agents sell more houses.
Okay, so what else? So like you have seen different markets. What have you you've had huge teams, and now you and I are both helping agents across the country.
Right.
What would you say is what do agents need right now? What would you say that from what you're seeing the most successful agents doing, what are they doing that is making them outlast this market?
So partially it's just working harder. I really do think I'm seeing agents taking twice as much action for the results they had a couple of years ago.
Yes.
And they don't have to love they're doing that, but it's just true. Like they're just doing it. That combined with, especially your students, have been consistent with content creation. That's the leverage factor where they've been building up between, sorry, I was going to use I don't know if you want to use names.
No, you can.
So I was just saying to Alicia Collins downstairs in the mastermind, and she was just showing her stats of year over year from what she works on, with you, exactly what you teach with Facebook, but not only just generating new leads, but how it's developed for past clients at her sphere, and over time how it's increased. that's what I'm seeing. The top agents that have done is that consistent leverage of content creation, video, which it just stacks year after year after year.
Yeah. It's true. It's like and people are leaving right now. It's like and the world is different, and people are wanting more, and they quite frankly deserve a lot more. And they're the best. You and I have been through the worst real estate market. 2008. We both thrived with some of the best years of our business, but we had to absolutely adapt and shift at what we were doing, and that now is no different time. So
it's just another shift that's happening right now with the changes to the buyer representation. I think you're going to see a strong focus. Not that it won't be worthwhile to work with buyers, but I think you're going to see listings.
Yeah,
consistent agents that are, especially ones that are hyper focused on local areas, that have niches. The stuff you teach. This is the most successful agents you're going to see, and it's going to just start to really like run away, because they're going to see the people that focus and double down on that.
Yeah,
that's where it's going to go. I think you'll see a continuing downward pressure on the buyer side commissions. Then agents that know how to illustrate that value, you'll see it, but truly focus on listings.
Yeah, it's so funny. I keep seeing all these people saying, oh, you need to learn to master your buyer presentation and this and that. Well, of course you do. But no, focus on listings. List to last. List to exist. How do you get more listings? Because ultimately we do know that in some cases, buyers will go directly to the listing agent. It's going to happen.
It's absolutely going to happen.
Yeah, it's absolutely going to happen. So,
and if you're the listing agent, then it's going to give you so much more. I think a lot of the theme of this conversation is around stability and security. I guess as I get older, I get more wired for stability and security.
Yeah.
So if you want security, focus on listings.
Yes, focus on listings.
Buyers
having a super true, unique value proposition for both sellers and buyers, but really doing it with listings is just huge with this. Jesse, this has been wonderful. I always and again, if you want to go to KristaMashore.com/secrets. That's KristaMashore.com/secrets to see Jesse's.
I think I need to say that too. It's KristaMashore.com/secrets.
Yes. Go to see Jesse's and the other top producers. Download them. Like, this really truly is. I was so impressed with the authors in the book and just how well they were able to do it.
The book is fantastic.
It's fantastic.
And I'm not saying this because you're sitting here, but you sent me an early copy.
Yeah.
And I was skimming through, this is really good.
It's really good.
There's so much content in that book. It's fantastic.
It's gold. Yeah. Literally, if you took that book and you applied it, it's just be amazing. So, Jesse, thank you so much. I always end every single podcast the exact same way into this. If you could give one piece of advice, whether it's for your business, your marriage, life, whatever, what would that advice be?
If I could give one piece of advice, and this might be because we're sitting up in Lake Tahoe, in beautiful trees.
And it's awesome mastermind.
Truly, this mastermind is incredible. I'd say that my advice would be slow down, which is such a strange piece of advice talking to Krista Mashore, who is buddy, speed. But here's why. Here's why I'd say slow down. Because there's so many options of where you should go. Slow down to decide where you want to go. But once you figure it out, then dive in full speed as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's your relationship, whether it's anywhere. I think that for so much of my life, I didn't pull back to even take a step. And I'm not saying research forever. But that one piece, as I'm staring at pine trees and we have this mastermind, there's so many ideas. Take it all in, right? Read the book, figure out what it is, slow down, and then as soon as you pick a path and commit, then you're all in full speed as fast as you can. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love it. Anyways, everyone, slow down to speed up, right?
That's even better. Thank you.
I know you are just as fired up as I am. Jesse Zagrosky here. If you're looking to build a team, grow a team, learn how to utilize social media, video, and quite frankly, just get help with being the best real estate agent as you can, reach out to myself, because you will get access to Jesse and I. We are building a team across the country. We have all the resources that you need. Again, I hope you are just as fired up as I am, everyone. Jesse Zagrosky, San Diego, California. And remember, when you do what you love, people love what you do. KristaMashore.com/secrets. Get a copy of the book, read his chapter, and see his full-on training if you decide to do so. Have a great day, everyone. Bye, guys.